Hello, friends, and welcome to Under the Covers, where we go through the previous PGA Tour winners' bag and discuss certain specs of all of his clubs, kind of go through each one. We have some good stuff today after what's in the bag. Kevin has some really cool new tech for putters, and he's going to go through those with us. And then a couple more things just going on in the PGA Tour. We're going to maybe do some betting throughout the season. But yeah, so we can get started. So Colin Morikawa, he wins at the Pebble Beach Pro-Am. This is his 7th win of his career. First one of the year, obviously. He ended up winning it on that 18th hole. Very dramatic 18th hole, I might add. Bridgman, I don't even know what happened there, but that took forever, so it made Morikawa wait. Was there an actual count? It seemed like it was 30 minutes that he was waiting in the fairway.
I think it's about 30 minutes, yeah.
I do know he joked. They had a little hot mic action where he sticks that shot, and you hear him just go, 30 minutes later. So that was great. But, yeah, so Morikawa, well-known tailor-made athlete. So that's a pretty good chunk of his bag. But I think we can just start from the top and go with the driver. So what does he have as a driver?
Yeah, man. TaylorMade staffer through and through. Company man, if you will. Doesn't play anything else. But he's big on the newest stuff. I think he plays like almost all the newest equipment, whereas like a lot of the TaylorMade staffers sometimes stick with the old things for a while. Scotty and Rory and things like that. But driver QI4D LS with a Diamante Whiteboard TX. Only thing to really note here, not a lot of tour guys play the LS. Most guys are playing the core these days. So I think he probably likes it because he mostly hits a fade. LS will sit a little bit more open, kind of have a little bit more fade bias to kind of have him see that ball go left to right. But yeah, it's pretty. It's been hitting it far. Picked up a ton of speed. It feels like this off season. So QI4D has a good fit for Morikawa, it seems like.
We talked about low spin last time, and y'all were explaining that it keeps the ball lower and then, can maybe rise up and maybe get some distance, I guess. I might have botched that, but whenever you say low spin, isn't the goal low spin? So, like, why doesn't every pro use that?
Yeah, it seems like with the pros these days, I think kind of two things, right? Like they're usually putting in the lowest possible spinning shaft, so maybe they might not use the lowest spinning head. Also, the guys are swinging it so fast these days. Normally, the low spin head is pretty unforgiving, whereas the core might be a little bit more forgiving. So, right, you would rather swing a little faster and be able to kind of hit it a little bit over the face, rather than have a less forgiving driver. But some of the guys still like that kind of tour shape, that pear-shaped driver versus the big round. I think the LS usually are about, 20, 30 cc's less than the core models as well. So they're a little bit smaller, kind of look like more of an original shape of a driver.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting with the LS versus core. Golf Magazine had a post like not too long ago about like the importance of hitting the sweet spot, and they used a robot to swing 5 miles an hour slower and miss-hit the ball, and 5 miles an hour faster and miss-hit, and the slower speed with the center shot, actually the ball went further and had better like carry numbers. So accuracy is the name of the game, and if they're missing just by a little bit, even though they're tour pros, they can try to keep the ball in the fairway and get a ton of distance.
It's insane those robotic arms on the mechanism, like how perfect they can get it. I'm curious too. So I learned this from Matt. I think it was a couple years ago, whenever I was down there last. But the sweet spot is actually a little bit higher than the middle, right? Or is that just kind of ideal placement?
Yeah, it gets into like ideal launch conditions, right? You want the ball launching at like a certain degree with like in the low 2000 spin, right? That's like optimal launch for a driver. Usually, like if you kind of go just a little bit up from the middle, that's kind of where you get that optimal launch kind of area. If you hit it kind of in the sweet spot, normally it spins a little bit more. But yeah, you kind of want to hit it. It's like a little bit up on the toe and a little bit over the sweet spot.
Oh, okay, very cool. Yeah, I didn't know that before. So yeah, then moving on to his woods, his lower woods. Looks like he has the QI4D as well in there with the Diamana D Plus TX. Did you explain what does a TX mean?
Tour extra stiff, so it's a little bit stiffer than extra stiff.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So pretty much every club is going to be extra stiff for a lot of these guys, right?
Yeah, most guys on tour will play X. There's a couple that'll play TX, and Colin seems to be one of them. But yeah, it's a pretty steam on a D plus with a TX is a pretty stout shaft. So
how do both of you feel when it comes to matching your woods with your driver? Like, is there something there, or is it just like a mind thing where you look at the same looking or same color pattern head, like same shape?
Yeah, I think most people do match at least something similar. It probably varies by just personal preference, but I think the profile, matches because you generally have somewhat of a similar swing between your driver and your longer woods. So I'm trying to match that launch. Like if you're trying to use the stiffest, lowest launching, lowest spinning shaft, like you're probably not trying to overspin, your 3-wood either. Mm-hmm. So I think that reflects in the Diamana D Plus TX that he's got.
And most guys, TaylorMade is the king of fairway woods. TaylorMade makes the best fairway woods probably on the market. So it's pretty good that he's playing TaylorMade's there. Also, he uses the Tour model 3-wood and 5-wood, which is also kind of odd. Not a ton of guys use the Tour models.
What's the difference?
Yeah.
Super smaller profile. I don't know if it's bonded or not. But yeah, like again, Scotty uses the Core 3-wood. Rory, I think, uses the Core 5-wood. He's one of the only guys I've seen use the Tour. Go for it, Kevin. Sorry.
Yeah, I was reading a lot about the QI40 Tour being like pretty hot across even non-TaylorMade players this year. That it's like apparently one of the best fairway woods that's come out in the last like 5 or 6 years. Supposedly they have a weight. It's like a 65-gram weight that is like really forward and low, so you can have like a really high launching but low spin fairway wood. So you can just hit just absolute bombs with it and have enough high launch that you can control its landing. The thing I was reading, it was the Sim Titanium was like the last one that like tour players just fell in love with because it had that low forward CG, and a bunch of those guys that were keeping that around have switched now to the QI40.
Oh, very cool. What you said before, Matt, you're not sure if it's bonded. Is that just like another word like a forged iron?
No, so that's the that's the hosel, right? So a lot of the Tour Model 3-woods will not have the adjustability. It'll be a hosel, right? So for some reason, some companies will kind of have the more one that's meant for the general public to be adjustable, whereas the Tour guys, they're getting into spec anyway, so they keep some of the 3-woods bonded.
Yeah,
I'm looking at a picture of his right now, and it's got the adjustments. Looks like he's not set up to standard.
Okay.
Is there for our clubs versus their clubs, bonded versus not? I'm actually curious if there's any benefit of not even having that option of potentially switching by repetition. They're not using the same club as often because they have those trucks and just replace it constantly, but like, is there anything to where bonded would actually be more stable and more consistent?
I feel like now they've gotten the adjustability hosel so good, I don't think there's any benefit to it. You're not going to find many 3-woods that have bonded anymore, except in my bag, of course. But I'm I'm a purist.
Yeah, I respect that about you. It also helps to travel, having the non-bonded.
For
Yeah,
sure. For sure.
what 3-wood do you have?
I am still in a Callaway Maverick 3-wood.
Wow, that's not
Shout out,
adjustable.
not adjustable.
Wow.
He rips it, dude.
Maverick Sub-Zero. Shout out 2018. Hashtag LeBron James on the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah.
You know, down 3-1, but we still use the Maverick Sub-Zero. Can't get it out of my bag, man. Can't get it
That's
out of my
crazy.
bag.
Well, that's like Justin Rose we were talking about last week, last pod, where he's using the same. I think it was either one of his
M6?
woods or a hybrid.
Yeah, the M6 fairway woods.
That's right. Yeah. Hey, play what works, man. Especially with those clubs. What kind of irons does he have?
It's like a mix between, he's got, excuse me, got a little illness from daughter in daycare, but
Oh man.
the PDHY utility iron, P7CB long irons, looks like 5 and 6, and then P730 7 through pitching wedge. So on the true blade with the shorter irons, and then a cavity blade for the longer irons, and then he's got some extra forgiveness on that for hybrid long iron, which I think is the club he used to hit his shot on number 18 there to stick it in and get the win.
I feel like we're seeing that a lot of that with the better golfers, where they keep the blades on the shorter clubs for the control, and then the cavity backs for the longer ones, just because it's harder to hit. I'm assuming that's accurate, right?
Yeah, same discussion as like the LS versus the core. You know, and the longer clubs is looking for a little more forgiveness. Even as good as these guys are, they occasionally mishit it and want some extra help.
Yeah. And that Dynamic Gold X100, that's the extra stiff version of Dynamic Gold, right?
Yep.
So what's a P7MB? Is that just a term for blades?
Yeah, just their blades, muscle backs.
Yeah, muscle back.
Okay, gotcha.
He's got the P730s 3.0.
Oh,
So that's
he's got the older version.
yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, like we talked about at LS, like MB is a common acronym for muscle back for meaning blades.
Oh, very cool. So what about those wedges? I think he's still tailor-made.
Yeah, playing the new MG5s in his 50 and 56. So those are the new that kind of the new release wedges from TaylorMade. They're supposedly really good. A lot of people love them. I think they're super popular already, and I think they're gonna be really popular kind of going through. I don't know if you're gonna get a ton of guys like from Vokey switching over to TaylorMade wedges, but I think you're gonna get a lot of guys that were TaylorMade staffers that might have been playing Vokeys going into the MG5s. Get a little more coin in their pocket for playing TaylorMade wedges. But 50, 56, and then he plays the TaylorMade T-Dub 60. So that's the Tiger Woods grind 60-degree wedge, specifically made for Tiger Woods. And they're all milled. So they're kind of these, that's TaylorMade's milled sole and everything. That's their big selling point. But yeah, MG5 wedges seem to be really good. Super hot on the market.
Can you touch on what the MG5, like what makes it great? Like what kind of sets it apart from potentially switching people over, or maybe someone choosing over Vokey?
TaylorMade's always done some weird stuff with wedges. They kind of they toyed around with that high toe for a long time. If you've seen those high toe
I didn't
wedges.
see many pros using that one.
Yeah, not a ton of it. Just didn't catch on, right? And like Vokey, Strixon have always, or Cleveland has always kind of been the standard, I guess, on tour you'd call it. But with TaylorMade coming up, they're making a better product, right? Putting some R&D there. Probably brought in some engineers from competing companies, and they made a good wedge. So
yeah, those high toes are cool, but there's just not many pros. I feel like, which is kind of
Yeah, those are more set up for the 8 handicappers like me.
Oh, gotcha. I love the idea of just
grooves, full face of grooves.
thank you.
Yeah. Shout out to the MG5s though. I think they do the graphics better than Vokey. Lots of stamping area. They leave a lot of blank space out there. Shout out Taylor Swift, blank space. But you can cut that if you want.
No, we're keeping that in. I was gonna say we gotta one of these days we'll have to maybe show your stamp setup because you've been getting good, man.
But yeah, they do good stuff there. So
looks like he has he's rocking the Spider like a lot of guys. Is there any like interesting specs on those?
Yeah, Spider X. He's got his own like personal alignment line from their I forget what they call the track, like the white track with the black line in the middle, but he's got like a T shape, so he wants a little bit of a parallel and perpendicular line so he can get set up totally straight.
Nice, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, Matt, do you remember what they call that? Is it like Visi track or something like that?
Yeah, something visual track. I don't know. Spiders are, at some point everybody tries a spider at some point. It's kind of like a rite of passage for a golfer. It's like, oh, I gotta, I missed a couple putts today. Gotta go try the spider.
Gotta try it out.
Do you see Odyssey's turtle that just came out and they're testing? It literally it's 100% a copy of a spider with the Visi track or whatever they call it. If you didn't see the Odyssey logo, you would know it's 100% a tailor-made spider.
I'm an arachnophobia. I am afraid of spiders.
That's why you sold me yours.
That's right.
That's so funny because they copied Lab, didn't they? That was the whole thing.
Yeah,
Odyssey.
Odyssey, and they're owned by Callaway. They're just very upsetting right now in their club development. It's just all copies. Like supposedly the drivers and woods are very good. I think we talked about that last time, and I think Matt's got one or had one or something. And but it's like their putters, they just are ripping off everyone. They copied Lab like exactly with their square to square. And then they use the dumbest marketing names, like Quantum and Paradigm and Maverick. When everyone else like Titleist uses proper names.
I'm getting into quantum computing these days. Put a drag tag.
Yeah. Nowadays, all you have to do is put AI on the the title of your club, and everyone's like, "Ooh, there's some extra data that went in there."
One thing to note on the putter: supposedly he just recently got that putter from Kurt Kitayama, is what they were saying on the broadcast.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, kind of another TaylorMade staffer out there. So,
kind of like that though. They're sharing their equipment. They're not gatekeeping a little bit.
Yeah, a putter he used to play with that I was pretty excited about. He was one of the first tour players to play with Logan Olson's putters. Have you guys ever seen those?
Oh yeah, you sent me those. Those are sweet.
They're sweet.
Yeah. He is my role model in life to be like about our age and be just milling these just incredible like works of art and getting Scotty played one for a couple weeks. Colin Morikawa played one for longer than Scotty. Nelly Korda played one.
She did.
They're awesome. Yeah.
There's rumors that Logan Olson is gonna get like the Scotty Cameron treatment, like Titleist did with Scotty Cameron. Like kind of Logan Olson is gonna be like the tailor-made Scotty Cameron. You know what I mean?
I hope so. He seems like a really cool guy from just what I've seen on his videos and just the putters that he's made. Like maybe the technology is better nowadays, but I think they look way more impressive than any like original Scotty Camerons.
Oh, absolutely. And you've been on him for a while. I feel like you sent me a video of his 2-3 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I probably like first stumbled across him like maybe in 2020 or 21. I can't remember exactly, but I've just been kind of following him. He's been a little dark on social media here for a while, but I'm eager to see what he's working on next.
Okay. Well, speaking of putters, should we go into your new toys?
Yeah, definitely.
Let's see.
So wanted to bring attention to a pretty cool putter that's kind of new on the market. We've got Kelly & Co. Golf This is their variable torque style putter. So right now it's set up in the like lowest torque setting possible. So the founder had some lab golf ties and then broke off and started his own thing. The feeling of this is absolutely incredible when you hit it in the middle of the face. It's so pure. Milled face. You got the like really high contrast between the flange and the face. Helps you set up nicely, but the part that is really different from most other putters is so we've got these weight ports in the toe and in the heel, and you can change the weights to change the toe hang of the putter. They'll still be pretty low torque, rather than zero torque, but that way you can really match the weight to fit your putting profile. And then the other part is there's this screw on the bottom that you can pop the hosel off, and you can change neck styles as well. So, if you want to test out this style or then go to a plumber's neck, you're able to do that. You don't see a ton of like customization possibilities in like mainstream putters. And, this is, a fitter's dream to really dial in, a client that they're working with. Yeah, Kelly and Co is really cool. That if you're like me, and a psycho about overthinking things, you'd say, well, if you're moving weights one way or another, you're going to change the CG of the head and move it either more toeward or heelward if you make one side heavy. And so, I was really concerned with that, and we did some calculations, and basically, if the max setting of if you put the heaviest weights on one side and the lightest on the other, it would move the CG by 1.4 millimeters. So pretty darn small. And
That's crazy.
It's pretty fascinating that, that small of a change can, affect the toe hang and, how the putter goes through your stroke. So pretty cool design here. Kelly and Co Golf. If you want to pick one up, reach out to Kenny Riley at the Gimme Golf Club, the arms dealer of St. Louis, and he'll get you set up. You can also get all sorts of different colors as well, different colors of the head, different colors of the shaft. Got the KBS GPS graphite putter shaft in this here right now. So again, really pure feeling and really cool design. I'm excited to see where they go in the future.
Yeah, that one's really cool. Have you been able to use it out in the field yet, or is it more you got it dialed in right now, waiting to use it?
Yeah, I putted with it outdoors once before the weather got really crappy here in St. Louis, and we just hit our first 70-degree day of the year, so I'm eager to get it back out again. It's got some tough work to do to replace my Ping PLD, but I think it could be there.
That's a nice putter too.
Yeah, I've fallen in love with that one.
And explain for the people how and why you know so much about putting, because you're doing some fittings, right?
Yeah, the goal is to do a lot of fittings. I have always been like a nut job when it comes to putting and putters, and just again overthinking things. And putting has been something that I like struggled with for a long time, so it just really had a lot of focus. And then I just got really obsessed with the different technologies, and it's the only club you use on every single hole of the golf course, and it's probably the most overlooked club universally by all golfers for fitting purposes. Most people think I swing it so slow, like it doesn't really matter. You just buy one off the rack and who cares? I'll get it to work, but then they'll go and spend $600 on a driver that they can't keep in the fairway to save their life. So I've just always like obsessed on, the different lie, loft, alignment lines, depending on what your dominant eye is, that has a big change in what alignment looks good to your eye. If your leading eye is your dominant eye, that would be like, I believe Tiger Woods is left eye dominant, and he, doesn't use like the flange line. Most flange lines would, you know, prefer a right eye dominant player because you're kind of using that trail eye to see down the line. Um, and so that, that makes a big difference. With a putter, you want to be able to aim somewhere and know that the putter is actually aimed where you think that it's aimed. Um, and so, that stuff has just always been really fascinating.
That's cool. And the weights that are on the ends on each end, are they like some putters now where there's different weights, or are they all like you're just kind of moving around and doing counterbalance, or can you add in more weight on one side while keeping the other side the same?
So you can really do anything you want, but you can, it's either stainless steel or aluminum weights currently. And so you can configure them like exactly how you want to fit your stroke. You can change the toe hang. You could just change total weight. So you could keep them totally, symmetrical on both ends, and keep it in a lowest or zero torque design. But maybe you want something heavier. If you use a heavier head, maybe you want a longer shaft and do some counterbalancing. It's really customizable to, the person who's, using it.
And with the heavier weights, right? I'm assuming almost working a little bit like a mallet, right, where you have some MOI behind it, right, and you kind
For
of get
sure. Yeah,
thing.
this head is like very big, so
Yeah,
even though it like looks like a blade, it really acts like a mallet in terms of the forgiveness.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and the milling pattern on here is great at like actually getting the ball rolling online.
if you look on tour right now, like nobody uses a blade anymore, right? The blade is quote unquote dead, right? But you kind of that almost blade feeling like a mallet, right, is kind of what a lot of those guys are looking for.
Do you think the
Yep.
switch of that was whenever Scotty officially switched from a blade? So everyone's just like, I'm just going to do what he does. I'm going back to a mallet.
It's a slow death, man.
Oh, man, I can hear you talk about that all day. Because do you have another putter? Did you want to go into the other one?
Yeah. Another one that's really cool that we've been testing out, is the Astro putters. So Astral is the logo here. This one really ramps it up quite a lot on the customization possibilities. So looking at this one, you've got a face that can be changed out. You've got stainless steel, or you've got copper or brass as a third one. You can switch the face. You can do three different heads. So there's the mid blade, kind of almost mallet-like blade. Then you've got the mallet, and then the last one is the standard blade. And they're all just very good looking designs, very clean, very sharp edges, but also some rolling smooth, you know, milling there. The technology here is really in the hosel. So the the hosel pops off, and there's three different amounts of offset that you can use with the different hosels, and they fully rotate with different settings. So you can completely adjust your amount of offset, um, and the toe hang independently of each other. So you can have a full shaft of offset, and no toe hang. You can have a whole bunch of toe hang. You could have no offset at all. You could have onset and make a low torque design. So like this right now is set up with onset. So the shaft would be, if you looked at the shaft axis, it's going towards the CG of the putter. And that would be, more for low torque. Kind of the hot, item right now in golf is low torque. But I've got this one set up pretty much to match my Ping PLD right now, except for on my Ping I would have a full shaft of offset with the plumber's neck, and this I've got a half a shaft of offset, and it's pretty interesting to roll, and I really enjoy like testing out the different configurations. When you're doing a fitting with these, there's a little putter gate that you use that is a little bit bigger than a ball, and you would just be trying out 4-foot putts and seeing what side of the gate that you're going to hit. And based on if you're hitting it left or right, you can make changes. The key for the putter, the human, is to not try to like affect their stroke to match the putter. You're just trying to swing your stroke, and whatever the ball does, the ball does. And then eventually you find that one that just goes through the gate one after another after another.
Whoa.
And it's fascinating. Again, like I said, most people, your average golfer, they go to Dick's Sporting Goods or Play It Again Sports or whatever, and they buy just whatever putter they think looks cool or the cheapest one they can find. They don't think much about it, not knowing that it does not like suit their stroke whatsoever. Another cool part about this would be that it has a lie angle adapter here. So there's nothing to bend. This is an adapter that screws in. You can see the little screw port here on the hosel. But yeah, so then if you find that you are, pulling the toe up or having the heel up, you can change the lie adapter without having to have like a club fitter bend the hosel for you.
That's awesome.
Jeez.
I keep on going back to this, but another thing that most average golfers like don't know is that putters have loft to them. These have about 3 degrees of loft. That's like, it's pretty typical to be in between like 2 and 4 degrees. And when you see guys who constantly are putting with the toe off of the ground, they don't know that because of the loft of the putter is actually aiming towards their feet. So if you're a right-handed player, you are aiming left if you have the toe off the ground. And that's just because of the loft of the putter. Does that make sense?
That's crazy. Yeah, it does.
I'm a heel up guy for myself.
Yeah, so you're aiming right all the time?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah. If you were to have like a perpendicular like magnet, you stick to the face, and you lift the toe or heel, you would see you'd be aiming left and right. So these guys are constantly wondering like, oh, I'm such a bad putter, I don't know why I'm missing. And then you see them like line up with their putter and the heel is 2 inches off the ground or the toe is 2 inches off the ground, and they just like don't know that they're hitting it wrong and they're putting side spin on the ball before it even gets rolling.
So it's advanced enough to where you wouldn't, like if someone comes into your shop trying to get a new putter, you wouldn't try to change their putter formation. You would adjust to them.
Yeah, I mean, unless it was like absolutely atrocious, and then
like going heel up.
Then you might have two things to do.
Careful there.
Some people have a solid stroke, but they just don't have the putter that suits them. There's someone close to me who I won't mention who has like the wildest stroke that you've ever seen, and you just really want to shake them and tell them to stop putting that way. But
you have a great stroke.
Both. Oh, thank you. Last week I said I love a good shaft. This week I love a good stroke.
The words of all cylinders.
The words of Todd Monken. I like to be stroked as much as the next guy.
Oh my gosh. Go Browns.
Yep.
That's amazing. Well, cool. I am actually very excited because as your putter journey continues, that'll be fun to kind of get some updates on like new tech and kind of how things are going, and definitely let us know when you actually get to use it outside when that weather gets a little better. I'm very curious.
Or we got to get everybody down to the Big D, right?
Oh, there you go.
We got a bunch of golf lined up here this weekend, so.
Oh, nice. Yeah, for our new listeners, we got Dallas, Texas, St. Louis, and Minnesota. So we have 3 very different climates and a lot of different opinions. So we kind of went over last weekend's tournament, but I think it's a good time for a little preview of Riviera because it is so back. Matt, you want to take it away?
Yeah, gonna go through quick bullet points here. Just hot topics from Riv this week. Riviera back from the LA fires, right? Last year it was at they did a second week at Torrey Pines. This year it's back. Used to be called the LA Open. It is no longer open. It is an invitational, only heavy hitters, only big boys, no PGA Tour mules, as they like to say, on this one. Course designer George Thomas designed a bunch of the LA Basin golf courses, right? Pretty much all the famous ones out in LA, George Thomas took care of back in the 1920s. What is Riviera famous for? Their grass. Yeah, so they play on a funky type of grass called Kikuya. I'll give you $1 if you can spell it.
Kikuya roll call. It sounds like a children's rhyme. Definitely not even going to try spelling it.
So it's a weed. Technically, it's an invasive species. But if you have the right type of coin, right, as Riviera does, you can tame it and make it really pretty. Very spongy.
You know what that reminds me of? Do you guys see the Starsky and Hutch movie where Snoop Dogg is caddying and he was like, "I know grass." I'm just picturing Snoop Dogg like caddying for someone, recommending clubs based on this Kikuya roll call grass.
Dude, what a pull! And Vince Vaughn is so aggressive in that movie.
Snoop Dogg direct from Milan to LA to caddy for somebody at the LA Open.
That's incredible.
He's a menace in Milan right now.
You're saying it was spongy before.
Yeah, very spongy. Rough can be super thick. So big fairway golf course. Newsworthy hole this week, the 4th hole. It is a par 3. Generally one of the harder holes on the golf course. Used to be 236 yards. Now it is 273 yards.
Oh my God.
Incredible.
Yeah, so just a little baby driver. I mean, on the 4th hole, no big deal.
Dominic, what are you hitting on that?
Got a club down, so swinging out of my shoes.
I think I'm gonna hit my AI Smoke Paradigm Claude 3-wood.
How about pull a I forgot his name, but just thin a 60 degree.
Yeah,
get it all the way there.
Couple famous members. Tom Brady. Tom Brady famously joined Riviera. Don't think he got into Augusta National yet, but fingers crossed for our boy.
A Gary Player.
Yeah. Upcoming events. Riviera, big schedule coming up. 2026 Women's U.S. Open. We'll love to see how the women play Riviera. The men, hit it pretty far. It's a landlocked golf course, so they hit a lot of short irons. It'd be cool to see the women play it. 2028 Olympics, so we're gonna get the women and the men back on Riv, and then the 2031 Men's U.S. Open will be at Riviera. So a lot of big events coming up to Riv, and we'll get it once a year again for the Genesis. Tiger press conference this week. Could he play in the Masters? There is potential there, is supposedly what he said. He's coming back. And then hinted at a big time new schedule where the Cali events will be moved to August as the playoff events. So that's kind of the news of the week, where instead of the California events being in February, California events might become the playoffs. So you get prime time golf in August.
Interesting. I didn't hear that.
Yeah. So it could go Pebble, Torrey, Riviera as the playoff events, which would be sick.
That'd be sweet. I'm curious though, is Riviera typically around the same time? Like, when is the quote fire season for Cali? Because I thought it was around August.
I have no idea.
I think every day of the year is fire season.
Every day, yeah, it might be every. It'll be cool. Night primetime golf, 9 p.m. On the east on our time zone. Golf in California in August.
Has
pretty
PGA
cool.
have they ever played at Riviera? LPGA, sorry.
I don't know. It definitely hasn't been recently, so
Yeah.
that'll be sick for the ladies to play out there.
Yeah, seeing these girls play that'd be very fun to see.
Couple equipment news, hot points. Bettinardi is releasing a putter, with Weller Antique 107. Very good weight. Looks sick. Very excited about that. Collector's
item. Cool stuff.
Yeah, not something you'd use to, use on the golf course. New Strixon irons. Kevin, I don't know if you saw these. Black Oxide is what they came out with.
I haven't seen them. Are they in the ZXI line? Or are they new?
Yeah, ZXI. They're like a matte black finish, kind of.
Nice. I love that. Like Mizuno's had a couple versions of that, and TaylorMade has had some black ones. Those are sweet.
Yeah, they look very cool. Strixon is a sneaky good iron company.
So,
totally.
Matt, I don't know if we've explained this before, but Kevin has quite the experience with some Strixons. Do you want to go, if you can give like a Spark Notes or like a quick list of all the switching and irons that you tried out in that, 2-month span it feels like?
Yeah, some would call me a wheeler and dealer when it comes to how much I like to tinker with my clubs, and it's always the golf club's fault, and it's never my fault for why something goes awry.
Absolutely.
But
yeah,
in the last probably 2 or 3 years, I've played with 2 different kinds of P790s, the ZX5s, the ZXi5s, ZX7s, ZXi7s. I've tried both drivers. I currently have a ZXi5 wood. Who knew I would become a Strixon guy? Then I went back to my original love and went to Mizuno MP223s, and then I got a deal I couldn't pass up and went to some 925 forged. So I've been around the block a few times, seen a few things. The ZXi 7s were probably my favorite behind Mizuno's. I just love the feel of Mizuno's a little bit more, but performance wise, just they were awesome. I feel like maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I would have said like Strixon, who gives a shit about Strixon, but they're actually like awesome, and there's some like good players who are playing them.
I think a lot of people thought that.
Yeah. They make their irons triple cut soles. They have a ton of bounce on their irons, which is pretty cool. Makes it go through the turf really well.
Does that makes it forgiving too, right?
Yes, just super easy to hit it. Just kind of glides through like a glove, like butter, right? It's just makes it feel really nice.
Would we coin or credit Brooks Koepka for kind of bringing a lot of attention to Strixon? I feel like he was the first major athlete that I saw with their clubs.
Yeah, Hideki Matsuyama's been playing that for a long time. Doesn't Shane Lowry has been with Strixon for a while, right?
I remember it on his hat. Yeah.
How can you forget Seb Straka?
Yeah.
Right. Another lefty.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Brooks was probably the biggest like star power guy that they had. And that was a pretty big deal when he signed with them. But it's funny that, Strixon is owned by Dunlop Sports, who owns Cleveland Golf. And Cleveland Golf used to be a pretty like premier line. Like if you think of like the Cleveland launcher from the early 2000s, there were lots of guys playing that back then. And now Cleveland Golf is almost kind of phased out as like sort of a discount brand or like a beginner's brand.
Which is wild.
And Strixon has totally like taken its place, as that like up and comer quality club, not too flashy, but just really reliable golf club.
Maybe one of these weeks we'll do like a true ball knowers bag. Like if you're like a true like a true golfer, and you're using some thick clubs, what would be in your bag?
I like that. That'd be a fun one. That'd be a fun one to deep dive. Should we each do our own and just see who knows more ball?
Yeah,
I think I
there
know
you
who's
go.
gonna win, but it'd be fun to try.
Yeah, I've already got some ones.
Last bullet point, Callaway, Minwoo Lee, who got second this week, by the way, using a Callaway Quantum triple diamond, or TDTD as they call it. So this is the tour use only triple diamond.
The Sydney Sweeney.
Can you say that 3 times fast?
Sorry, continue.
That's good stuff. No, but yeah, it's the first time we've kind of seen it on tour. So it'll be the triple diamond used to be their tour only. Now it's triple diamond. So who knows what Callaway with their naming, but Minwoo hit it a cool 360 off the tee on 18.
That was sick.
So yeah,
in the situation, that's such a nice shot, especially with all that wind too.
yeah.
Isn't he the guy playing the Spider ripoff Odyssey Turtle?
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, he's playing the new turtle.
That's great.
It does.
I do
want to
talk about Scotty and how annoying he is. He stinks. He should have 3 wins. He has the one, but the last 2 tournaments, for some reason, he's just making it harder for himself and just trying to play with one arm behind his back and win the tournament in 3 days instead of 4. Like, if he has a normal round in both of these last tournaments, he'd be three strokes in the lead.
Well, or if he learned how to putt before his Spider, how many wins would he have had in the past too?
That's true.
He would lead the field in strokes gained driving and approach, and then be in the middle or near the bottom at putting.
There's a story in Dallas golf lore, if you're in the Dallas golf world, but after that Masters, whenever he whenever he was having putter troubles, right, and he decided, okay, I need a new putter, right? I guess at Royal Oaks, where he hangs out, they had every tour truck was at Royal Oaks that day, basically being like, what putter do you want to try? And they basically he just had putters coming off the line. It was just an assembly line of putters, and he was just going through everything. And of course, he ended up on Spiders. But yeah, I remember I got told that story from some member at Royal Oaks. He was like, nobody could go that day because there was no parking spots because all the trucks were.
Jeez,
I feel like only Scotty can attract that kind of attention there for a putter.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Whoa! Why? I don't like your tone. He said for a putter. We just talked about how important it is.
Well, I know it's important, but Scotty is Scotty. No one's gonna care as much for. We'll use Shane Lowry. I don't think 7 trucks are gonna show up for Shane Lowry's putter game. You know what I mean?
I still didn't appreciate your tone.
I apologize. I'll be better next time. I didn't mean it like that, but I'll apologize.
If only we were there to give him a little putter fitting for Kelly and Co. or Astral.
That'd be sick. Or Olsen. I feel like we can maybe touch a little bit on the comeback story of the year, Anthony Kim K.
You're back. A bad guy, Dom. You're a bad guy.
He's back. He's so back. He beat John Rahm and Bryson in a live event that he signed that week. And then I was listening to No Laying Up, and they said that he almost didn't even get to play because he didn't have a work visa. He barely got it in time.
Barely got in the country, yeah. Dude, Anthony Kim, one of the best stories of all time. I was at his last win on the Saturday at the 2010 Houston Open, which was crazy.
Really?
I was at that tournament, and I remember just the aura around Anthony Kim. A lot of guys have come out. Probably one of those most naturally gifted golfers outside of T-Dub, right? There's not many people that can just naturally hit a golf ball like Anthony Kim. I think the Masters has to give him a spot, right? I mean,
That'd be
it would
awesome.
be must see TV.
Would they allow that because he's on Live? Like, do you think they would ever let that happen?
They did it for Joaquin Neiman last year because he wasn't technically qualified, but he was winning everything.
Oh, well, yeah, because he had a lot of. They didn't have the world
Yeah.
ranking points by that point, though.
No,
Well,
no, no, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joaquin Neiman had some success at Augusta previously too, so I think he was a good name to bring in.
Yeah. And I don't know. I think like maybe the PGA Championship, just because he has like the PGA is kind of the lowest of the majors, right? So it's like, okay, you invite Anthony Kim, instantly you get eyeballs, right? So I don't know, man. I if he again gets back to where he was back in those early 2000s, like could be dangerous.
That'd be fun to watch. And, like, I mean, it was fun to watch his how many fist pumps he had going into that last round. And I wrote it down because the announcer, he had an awesome tagline. He was just saying how he's attacking these pins and, like, he made a million putts. But he said, courage and buckets. And I thought that was awesome. Like, that, we got to put that on a t-shirt. That's an incredible line.
Some pretty sick stuff. Super happy for him. I mean, just super all around. I mean, cool story. And it's something that finally Live like outside of just like Rob and Bryson can kind of like hold on to, right? I mean, they kind of have something in their bank now.
Absolutely. So, what we wanted to do as a group is what's called a one and done. And it's, if you've ever done a survivor pool in the NFL, it's somewhat similar, where we're going to go through, choose one winner every week for the upcoming tournament, and then it'll be based on how close you are to the winning spot. And then, so let's say for next week I choose Hideki Matsuyama. I cannot choose Hideki for the rest of the season. If he wins next week, that's very good because it helps your average score. If he gets dead last, then that messes up your average completely. So we're going to go through each week. We'll, do a prediction, and then we'll go through and kind of just talk about results and give updates as we go. All right, so going through our first pick, we'll be doing the Genesis Invitational at Riviera. I think for mine, I kind of want to go with somebody who's been playing well lately, but I almost want to save him, but I don't know. I'm just going to go with Tommy Fleetwood because I think he's going to be up there. He's going to at least be in the running. He's going to make the cut, I believe. So I think that's kind of where my tactic is going to be, is just try not to miss a cut.
Yeah, it's a good tactic. I like it. It's probably a little bit deeper analysis than I'm going to go for my guy. I'm going to go with your boy Bobby Mack, and we're going to keep with our lefties here. So we're going to go Robert McIntyre, and I think he's just going to carve up number 10. He's going to drive the green, be able to land it with a little butter cut. Oh, it's going to be a thing of beauty.
I love that. You should choose a lefty every time if you can.
Yeah, I'll run out pretty quick.
Who you got, Matt?
Dom, I thought you were going to say the Hawk Tua girl back this week.
Oh my god. Go on. we're just gonna blow past that one. Like she did.
I got a good pick. Loves this place. Second home, if you'd call it. Adam Scott, out of the blue. Loves Riviera. Second home. Would love to, he's had good finishes there before. But yeah, I think he always seems to find it there. Now that I'm saying that, I hope he's even in the tournament.
Yeah, look that up.
Because I forgot it's like an invitational now, and he's not.
Yeah, he's in it. He's
in. All right, good. We're good.
He's
We're good.
world ranked number 71 right now.
All right, cool.
Is it top 80?
I don't know what the invite criteria is because there's a guy who's 263 right now, and Max Homa is 148. Yeah,
I know there was a few exemptions too. Maybe we can throw that into the next pod.
Trivia question: what is Jordan Spieth's world golf ranking right now?
He is.
I don't even know.
In the hundreds now, 173.
No, better than that. Not quite in the hundreds.
85.
Very close. He's 82nd.
Dang.
Yeah,
that's surprising.
He's an exciting watch, but we got to get Jordan playing some better golf here.
Right.
Hangs out at Trinity Forest too much these days, you know.
Well,
Texas guys just name dropping everything.
Yeah, I know. Jeez. Would you go to A&M or something?
I like to hang out with them at Skellig, or if they're just hanging around Dallas.
All right, that was a good discussion, I believe. I think we're all pretty excited to see Riviera back in its full glory. Let's see. How should we end it? Do we just end it?
Yeah.
I think
I was trying to do a fun outro, but I don't really think it's a good one. So I think we just
Melia.
Editor Dom here. That was a tragedy. We're still very new at this and don't really know what we're doing and clearly don't know how to do an outro. So I'm here to plug our socials. We are on TikTok and Twitter at Under the Covers Golf. Go follow us, support. Maybe we'll figure this out eventually. Thanks.